Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Consider product placement with Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Visit our website at jmmbmediallc.com to discover digital products to 10x your business. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look for 1-foot bars that I can step over. Warren Buffett. Stuart Lichtman is an executive entrepreneur, researcher, consultant, trainer, and coach. He is the developer of the Cybernetic Transposition and Shared Vision Leadership System. He is the author of The Art of Success, Luck, and Harmony, The Impossible as a Matter of Course, and How to Get Lots of Money for Anything Fast. He also co-authored Eye to Eye, Joyfully and Successfully Parenting 3 to 5-year-old Children. Stuart is also creator of the Arintel Artificial Intelligence Data Analysis Program, president of Partners in Excellence Incorporated, and president of Successful Ventures Publishing Incorporated. Stuart has directed or run 100 companies and trained more than 50,000 people around the world. Welcome, Stuart Lichtman.
Hi.
Yes, welcome. Wow. How did you get on this road? I like to hear about your beginning.
My beginning was something, I was born with what's called Asperger's syndrome, and that made it impossible for me to connect with people, my parents, other kids, and so on. And so I had to invent ways to make my way in the world because I couldn't learn from anybody else. And I did that. And through repeated trying and failing. And I have on my record a really great entrepreneurial failure when I was a kid, built up a real estate empire and learned about real estate cycles the hard way. And so I learned to do this, and then I had near-death experience, met God. He gave me a job, which was to, if I chose it, come back and teach people how to make their lives a paradise on earth.
Wow. That is definitely a testimony. Okay, so how do we make life on earth a testimonial?
Well, the way you make life on earth wonderful is piece by piece. You take the part of your life that is the least rewarding, and you change that into the most rewarding part of your life. Now, most people would say that's kind of impossible, but I'm a specialist in doing the impossible. To achieve seemingly impossible things, all you have to do is 3 things. Of course, God is in the details, but the first thing is you have to set a target that is perfect for your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. You know, it's perfect for your conscious mind when it seems perfect. You know, logically it's perfect. You know, it's perfect for your unconscious mind when it feels perfect. Intuitively, it is just right for you. Then you have to prioritize the unconscious target, because all the things we do are done unconsciously. We are faked into thinking we're making conscious decisions, but it's really our unconscious up to 10 seconds before we make the conscious decision that are making the decisions. They found that out with functional MRI studies and so on. And then once you've got your unconscious focused on what is perfect for you, you have to resolve the roadblocks that would otherwise stop you. I call these self-defeating unconscious habit patterns or blockers. See, life is much more complex than most people think. Even the simplest things from a cybernetics point of view have millions of possibilities. So the way we get through life is by developing a repertoire of unconscious habit patterns. Think about a kid learning to read. It takes them 3, 4, 5 years to do it. First, you have to learn what sounds are meaningful and what aren't. Then they have to learn that those sounds are associated with letters. Then they have to learn that the words they know verbally are associated with groups of letters. Then they have to learn that groups of letters put into words, put into groups, are sentences and have a certain pattern and expectation, and so forth and so on. But nowadays, you look at a book or the screen and you know what it says. You just intuitively know exactly what it's saying because you have lots of unconscious habit patterns that do that. But let's pretend you don't know how to speak Russian and you don't know the Cyrillic alphabet. You have to start all over, do exactly what a kid did in all those steps in order to learn the alphabet, learn the sound, learn the words, learn vocabulary, and so on. Take you 4, 5, maybe 10 years to become fluent. So the difference between having successful unconscious habit patterns is you can read right now as compared to picking up a book in Russian and saying, what? Okay, so our lives are run by unconscious habit patterns. Same thing with driving. You drive a car now, it's automatic. First time you drove a car, it was pretty tough. I was sweating like crazy when I did it. Unfortunately, these unconscious habit patterns persist forever unless you know how to change them. And it seems like I'm one of the few people who does. So let me give you an example of what happens. Let's say Frank, no, let's call her Geraldine, is a little baby, little infant, and she's hungry. So out of collective unconscious, she pulls out what turns out to be a very successful way of getting attention. She screams, turns red in the face, waves her little arms and legs around, and kicks a little, and lo and behold, mom or dad appears and she gets fed. So that's a survival situation for Geraldine. If she doesn't get the attention, she's going to die. So later in life, let's say Geraldine is now 43 years old. She's in a job that she's not really happy with, particularly because she just made a big mistake and she's on the carpet in front of her boss. And this is, her unconscious sees this as a survival situation. Jobs are hard to get for 43-year-old people, and that's what she's thinking. So she starts making her case, and her voice gets louder, and she gets red in the face. She waves her arms and legs around, perhaps pounding the table. Guess what? Same thing little infant Geraldine used to survive. And Geraldine doesn't know she's doing it. It's all unconscious until her boss fires her on the spot because her successful unconscious habit pattern from her childhood is now an unsuccessful unconscious habit pattern, and she had no control over it. So we have lots, in the order of millions of unconscious habit patterns that we use to navigate life. And some of them don't work anymore. Like You get angry at your spouse. That doesn't work too well. You get home from work and you feel exhausted and you just plunk down in front of the TV. That doesn't really fulfill your life. Say every time you have some money, you spend it, you're always broke. That doesn't work too well. You can change all these unconscious habit patterns quickly. I teach a process called base reframing, where in a half an hour, you can permanently change self-defeating unconscious habit patterns. So for example, 5 years ago, I weighed 100 pounds more than I do now. I was eating everything in sight. So I set an objective using my techniques to lose 100 pounds in 3 months. And I did it. And I'm still on the weight that I got to 5 years ago. That's one of the things I teach, how to lose lots of weight and keep it off easily. And while I was losing 100 pounds, I was never hungry. And that's the key. It's not the hunger that comes from starving, needing food. It's an unconscious habit pattern of food being a reward for good behavior and so on. Those kind of things. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have to change the habits, the unconscious habits that we carry from childhood that we don't even realize we carry until we actually, I guess, pay attention to how we show
You go
up.
kapoomy.
Yeah.
You hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And of course, when you talk about rock bottom, there's a part of the unconscious that won't let you drop any lower than rock bottom. I call that the unconscious performance floor. Now, if you raise that, I have techniques for doing that, your worst day becomes, instead of a 1 on a 1 to 10 scale, maybe a 5. Or maybe if you take my coaching program and learn how to make all your days great days, your worst day is a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you make your life a paradise on earth. You find all the situations where you're unrewarded by your behavior and change them so you automatically make it great. Make sense?
That actually makes a lot of sense. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole idea of the fact that we do have habits that we perform every day unconsciously, and some of them lead to really negative results. Once we change those habits, even our worst day has actually become better because that one habit has become under control, or we have actually obliterated it, I would think. It's not just
Well,
under
you're
control.
taking the energy that went into defeating you and turn it into energy to uplift you.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like
So it's a
that
very
too.
efficient process. Let's talk about entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I've run or guided over 100 companies. I've been an entrepreneur since I was at MIT. And there's what I call the entrepreneur's disease, which is a real killer. The entrepreneur assumes that what he or she does so well unconsciously that they're unaware of it, that everybody else has the same ability. So I call this unrecognized strengths. You remind me a little bit of a friend of mine who was up for the VP of Human Resources at NBC Universal. She came to dinner. She's one of my wife's really good friends. And she was telling us about this. She says, competition is really tough. And I said to her, well, have you told them about your unrecognized skills? And she said, what's that? and Gloria, my wife, and I homed in on one right away, which I call connectability. And you, I think, are an expert on that one. It's being instantly trusted by other people, at least to the extent they will take you seriously, open up, and carry on a meaningful decision. And when you really develop, you put it with a great big smile like you've got, then people really open up happily to you. Now, of all the people I know who are high on connectability, none of them put that in their resumes. None of them. So with Gloria's friend, Marianne, we went through, Gloria and I told her what we thought were her powerful unrecognized skills. And she said, you know, my boss said something like that. Anyway, so we finished dinner and I said, next time you go into your interview, tell them about your unrecognized skills and then prove it by the experiences when you're demonstrating. A week later, she called, she said, I got the job. Literally, I kind of waltzed in, did what you said, and they said, the job's yours. Because I was telling them what they were unconsciously, intuitively recognizing about me. So people have these unconscious skills that they don't recognize because they're so natural, like breathing or running the billions of cells in your brain, your unconscious does, or the 30 miles of DNA in your body. I mean, humans are incredibly complicated, and we just live saying, well, that's life. And a part of us, the unconscious, is doing that. Now, when you tap into your unconscious, you're really tapping into a lifetime of wisdom if you put it to use properly. And that's what I teach people to do.
So how do people get in contact with you? Let's talk about that before we move any further, because this is very, very interesting. I never even thought about the unrecognized talents.
Well, easy way to get in touch with me. I have a website called stuartlichtman.com, StuartLichtman.com. And I have free ebooks there, and you have links to my various trainings. If you want to get my ebook system, How to Get Lots of Money for Anything Fast, go to www.anything-fast.com. www.anything-fast.com. And if you want to learn what it takes to be a highly successful entrepreneur, you can read the annotated bibliography from a book that I wrote about that. The major venture capitalists say should be required reading of anyone who desires to become an entrepreneur. And that one is called How to Become a Highly Successful Entrepreneur. You can find the annotated table of contents at www.super-entrepreneur.net. Superentrepreneur.net. And just reading that 8 or 9 page annotated table of contents will tell you an awful lot about what it takes to be a highly successful entrepreneur. Or you can attend my training, the Super Entrepreneur Training, of course. And there's a link to get in that. So that's how you get in touch with me. And I'll be happy to communicate with anybody on this call who wants a little input.
Right. Yes, this is definitely some new terms came out here. Some things that I never thought about because, like you say, they come natural, so you don't think about it. You just be about it.
Right.
So now you've got me thinking about my unrecognized talents, and I think I'm going to write those down.
The best way to find out where your unrecognized skills are is to ask your friends and your relationship partners. Now just say, what do I do naturally? So naturally that I probably don't recognize it, that add to my successfulness. And you write it down, and you'll see there's common threads there.
Yeah.
Then you go back to people and say, well, this is what I got. Anything more to add?
Mhm.
And there you have it.
I recently had the opportunity to speak to someone, and basically that's what we were talking about, because they're having a hard time finding a job in this post-pandemic or wherever we are world. And as I started talking, I started grouping the things that she's done in the past together. And after a while, we were able to pull the thread that runs so true. It was running through everything that she's ever done. And she said, I never recognized that. And so now she's more focused on getting a job in her lane, so to speak, where her strengths are, as opposed to just scattergunning, trying to get a job. So it's a very interesting process, getting to know really who you are. And that's not something that we're usually taught. We're not taught to know who we are. We're taught to be what everybody else thinks we should be, and we take that on. And so to get to what you're talking about, dealing with the subconscious, getting to know yourself and what really works in your life, for many people in a lifetime, they'll never find it because that part of them that is so true to themselves has been completely beaten down.
Yep.
And after a while, they just gave up and they said, okay, well, I don't
You're,
exist.
you're one smart cookie in my book. You are the only person I've talked to who recognized that. That's pretty comprehensive. And that's one of my highest compliments for what it's worth.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. And it comes from life. It comes from living. It comes from doing the work.
It's called wisdom.
Yeah. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes. Wow, Stuart. We definitely have to. Time is just not enough because we definitely want to talk to you more. And we want to bring you back on this show because we need people to hear this. We need people to dig deep and really understand who they are and, practice some of the things that you have given us. And I'm sure there's more. We just kind of touched the surface here. But we definitely have to have you back. I mean, like real soon. For the next couple of weeks, if that works for you, so that we can start to really map out, get a little deeper into some of the things that as entrepreneurs, as humans, we need to be focused on.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I must say, I enjoyed both of you and I would look forward to that. I might give you a preview of my present project, and you're going to laugh and say, he's crazy. Is to leap past the Armageddon that we are heading for, if you look at the papers every day, and make the world a paradise on earth. I am literally involved in that. I have a new book that I'll tell you about when we meet again.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Oh, that would be really lovely. So we're definitely going to reschedule you soon because I'm going to go and look for your book. I'm going to be really ready for you the next time.
Okay, great.
A fabulous conversation. Thank you so very, very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
both very much. I've enjoyed meeting you and I look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.